Hi everyone, my name is Jenny and I'm the Vice President of the Rotman Commerce Pride Alliance for this upcoming school year. I would like to welcome you all to RCPA's very first Standing Out video series where we will be discussing diversity and inclusion in the workplace and the impact of COVID-19 on businesses and recruitment. Also, we'll be having a small contest where our viewers will have the chance to win a coffee chat with a corporate sponsor, so stay tuned. I hope you all enjoy the series.
Okay, so Shibani, thank you so much for joining today to be part of the Standing Out series. As you know, like so many students are interested in finance or in the banking industry. So we would like to learn more about your role at TD and what drew you to this institution before we jump into the interview questions.
Sounds good. So my role at TD is I'm Vice President of Enterprise Business Solutions. It's a role within HR which predominantly has accountability for all of the HR technology across TD Bank, as well as change management, program management, project management, a few other things that fall within that purview. Very exciting role. And why I joined TD actually about 3 years ago. It was 3 years ago in May. And prior to that, I was living Hong Kong and 2 years in the Philippines. So it was very different living in Hong Kong in the Philippines and being a member of the community. I made quite a number of attempts to start community groups, ERGs, and they fell flat for the most part because even though there were members of the community, they didn't necessarily feel free to come out and be themselves. And so then I came to Canada. I moved back to Canada. I had my expat assignment had concluded, and I had been speaking to TD for some time. And I should say that before I even moved back to Canada, someone that was visiting me in the Philippines knew that I was on my way back to Canada and said, "Oh, you're heading back to Canada. You're going to reassimilate. You have to meet Sharon Chung. She's TD's gay recruiter." And I kept hearing this name. So I went, okay, well, I'm not even considering TD, but that's a good person, it seems like, to know just in the industry. So fast forward, I get an offer with TD Bank and join the bank, and going from one spectrum, which was not even being able to create an ERG as a leader, trying to create it, to it seemed like someone just rolled out the rainbow carpet. TD just did a spectacular job of making me feel welcome. So I had the fortunate luck of joining in May, which was very close to around Pride time. And I have to say that this was one of the reasons that I had chosen TD, is because I knew they were so significantly, a prominent player in the diversity space. And so when I joined at a time when it was just about to be the Pride event starting, and the reception that I received as a new executive into the bank that was LGBT, it felt like I went on a bit of a tour. So I was able to speak on panels, immediately join. I think even an RCPA event I may have done earlier in the years of joining. And it was just amazing. It was amazing that it wasn't just in the month of June. So I thought, okay, maybe it's just in the month of June, but it really wasn't in the month of June. And it continued. And even so much so that last year was World Pride. And TD Bank took 200 colleagues to New York, approximately 200 colleagues to New York to celebrate our to have a World Pride Summit. And it just shows the investment that the organization makes in each of the diversity pillars that we support.
That's really amazing.
Yeah.
So as a leader at TD, as you said, and being the member of the LGBTQ2+ community, what role do you play when it comes to internally influencing change in the organization?
So that's another place where TD is great. If you are a leader, that is, whether you are a member of a community or of a diversity pillar or not, if you are willing to put up your hand, particularly as an executive where you would think that you've got a bit more influence, they create every opportunity. I actually sit on the the steering committee for the organization, but I also co-chair the LGBTQ2+ Women's Council and Committee, and that is enterprise-wide as well. So those are two major ways in which we can influence, and whether that is through creating sponsorships for internal candidates for talent development, whether it is even networking events, whether it is creating a community that will allow others to feel connected. Those are some of the ways. Again, there's a lot of internal speaking that I also try to do internally to promote others to the diversity pillars that may not be aware of it. There's something even simple as a leader, being conscious of making others aware of events that happen and inviting them as a guest, and knowing if they're allies and they may be uncomfortable to go. Mm-hmm. So you can nudge your fellow leaders who may then pay it forward and bring others with you.
Great. Because it's so important, just to incorporate these values in an institution. I'm so proud that you guys are doing it. When it comes to creative ways, which your company uses, how do you guys proactively source candidates from underrepresented communities?
So there's a few firsts I'd say that TD has in this regard, where they have a diversity sourcing team. So I mentioned the name Sharon Chung.
Yeah.
And Sharon leads the diversity sourcing team for TD Bank. And they are individual leaders that are dedicated to each pillar. And they are relentlessly focused on pipelining the best talent that you can find anywhere to bring into TD Bank. And they do that whether that is through creating events or attending events. It could be through also holding so this is the whole team plays a predominant role in identifying those candidates, but identifying candidates isn't enough. As an organization, TD also hiring managers to say we all have to identify or ensure that we're looking at a diverse slate. This is something that's actually built into our goals, to say we are conscious of diversity and inclusion, and it's coming through in every decision that we make, whether it's a hiring decision. Also, that TD is very good at having a social media presence and I don't know if as of late, there's a few posts that are certainly out there, particularly in the LGBT space, but also in many of the other diversity pillars. TD is very, very, very active.
Oh yeah, I was just outside, I think yesterday, just walking through Bloor, and it was so surprising because last year it was so packed, and I remember there were so many I think there were jazz performances happening even before the parade. So there were these booths which TD had set up, and I have this picture with with the whole rainbow, and my friends were it was forever proud, and we were holding flags and stuff. I really miss that.
Always with us, right?
Oh yeah. But yes, we're very aware of the wide-reaching impacts that recently COVID-19 has had on our work, and even for when it comes to recruiting for students too. Do you have any tips for students on how can they continue to stand out, whether it's in person or if it's virtually? As a candidate for a job, it can be being an ally or a member from the community itself.
So what I'd say is, of course, now we're moving more and more to online. And I think as we move to online with physical distancing and social distancing, the words you use are going to be they're going to matter, because that even though you may have that video interview, is going to be so important, because it won't be potentially that connection that you have when you're in face-to-face. The one thing that I would say is, irrespective of whether you are in person or you are online, be clear, be succinct, be very intentional about what it is that you want. There are too often times that even I will attend a career fair and someone will come up to me and say, I'm really good at these things, do you have a job for me? And they put the onus on the hiring manager or the recruiter to try to find a job, when oftentimes there's some senior people that may be around that are looking for those candidates that don't just say, I'll spray and say, I'll take this, I'll take this, I'll take this, I can do this, I can do a little bit of this. But to be very intentional to say, look, my end state is to be X. Here's the path that I'm carving out and the experiences that I wish to gain to be able to achieve that X. And that specificity, that intentional confidence really shines through with a potential employer who says, okay, this person is in it for their career, and they're not just looking for me to give them the easy ride. The other piece is to showcase volunteerism, any volunteerism that you've had. Like I think there's a debate that sometimes people have. Do I weight my resume on volunteerism? Do I not? And again, that matters. Maybe it makes a difference as you're speaking to the organization and it's organization specific, but knowing that TD is so big in this space and genuinely big in this space, highlight that, showcase that, make it bring it as an opportunity to mention that in the ways in which you volunteer. It's that passion. Passion is very important. That it's not shameful to show your passion, but it's actually very refreshing when you find someone that is really deeply ingrained in what they want and what they enjoy doing. Also, with us moving to online, it is very important that you've got a professional social media presence. All too often we have things on the web that we may regret. Maybe do a quick sweep because Googling you before they make any hiring decisions. And so the posts that you make, whether it's on LinkedIn and whether you're active, whether you're passive, again, a lot of this will also depend on the roles that you may be applying for. But also don't be afraid to show what makes you so unique. If TD prides itself on hiring diverse and unique candidates, show it. Just add that little spritz of here is who I am, and this is what I like, and this is what I enjoy, but I'm here to do a great job. To be yourself. TD's got a great slogan, be you here.
Yeah, that's great. It's such an amazing, institution by itself. Like whenever I feel like, I'm hearing, because like, as a member of the community, when I attend, all these conferences or, events, like TD is like, it's like a familiar face. You always know TD is going to be there somewhere.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you're like extremely lucky, like you'll meet Sharon Chung in person as well. Like in
The living legend.
Yeah. So coming towards like the last segment of this interview, I wanted to ask you, like, how has the focus of diversity and inclusion progressed within your organization?
TD is really digging deep on diversity and inclusion. And so much so that even the acronym sometimes switches to say, is it diversity and inclusion or is it inclusion and diversity? Like even these little things really matter. TD, if you have been around or heard about TD spoken, TD is very big on customer, colleague, customer, and communities. And I'd say that TD in the early is very, very, very strong on colleague, the diversity and inclusion. And of course, when you go into communities, because of the communities that TD likes to support. But another first that TD's had as we go on that spectrum of colleague, community, customer is TD was the first to have LGBTQ2+ market leads. So these are market leads on the customer side dedicated to finding business and supporting diverse business. And the ones that I'm speaking to are very specifically in the LGBTQ2+ side. But so that's one external way in which TD is really progressing and putting a lot of weight on saying there are diverse needs of our customers and we need to evolve and adapt and make sure that we are representing our communities, not just internally for our colleagues, but also as we are going out to market. But another area internally that TD is spending a lot of time really trying to understand is the concept of intersectionality. The fact that I am Vismin, I am a woman, but I'm also a member of the LGBTQ2+ community. And so when there is an event, do I only go to one event, or would it be one that I'd like to see that has multiple aspects of me representing? So TD is really trying to get a deeper stance at understanding individuals for their uniqueness and who they are so that they can better understand, build programs, develop opportunities, but with the ultimate goal of driving inclusion. Because we are all, really doesn't matter what color of skin we are, what our preferences are, we are all diverse in our own ways. The key is to be as inclusive as we can. So I'd say from that perspective that TD is really trying to drive the link between the various pillars and even areas of diversity that may not be a perceived pillar at this point, but to say, you are you. Again, when TD has the brand or the the words outside of TD Bank saying "be you here," it really means it in everywhere. Be everything that you are here. You don't have to be just Visman. You don't have to be just a woman. You don't have to be just LGBT. TD appreciates you for who you are in all those ways, and is really trying to dig deeper and harder to say, well, what about those individuals that don't necessarily feel complete at just an LGBTQ2+ event? What can we do for them, where we're trying to find those intersects between the various communities?
Okay, thank you so much. It was, I think this completes our interview from my end. Do you have any questions for us? We'll be happy to answer.
How are things going? How are you switching your programming with the sudden hit of COVID?
Oh, things have been very it's like there's constant changes.
Yeah.
Over the summer, we kind of tend to not have like that many events normally, because within our program, most of our events start off like with fall. But shifting events online is definitely something we have to consider now, because even the university online, like we will be having some classes which will be offered in person as an option, but there will but then there will be some classes being offered online as well. So it'll be like a very hybrid mixture. We haven't seen it ever. That needs to come up with some sort of like event mechanisms. We're also looking at those government policies. They keep on changing as well, in terms of like, what's the capacity, is what is allowed for this period. So we are thinking currently to have shift most of our like in-person events to like the winter semester, if it's still if it the situation by then, hopefully, and keeping most of our fall events a little online, because it's still very unclear, and like it's like a lot of like processing going on, so
very fluid.
Yeah, but we're very happy to have like an amazing network at the Rotman office. They are like keeping us updated with all those, policy changes, Google Documents, and all this like list of things. We need to like make sure, even if it's like having online socials within the team, they want to make sure that you guys are like having some kind of resources, some kind of like an online game or something which we're
that's good.
playing on a screen or something. I think it's laptops. I'm not sure. I'm still trying to like learn into this, because like I've been in this club for like I think 3 years now, and like it's been so different every year, because it's like moving up the ladder, but again it's like seeing in a different lens, because if you're seeing it as an online perspective, so like trying to come up with like new creative ideas, to get some kind of like our foot in there, so that we have like a decent enough year for our school, for the upcoming school year, and basically connect from the community, from our school, to like to get jobs, and
it's amazing. I love what you guys do. I love the effort. I love that you haven't slowed down as a result of this. It's so nice to see that groups like yours are continuing to do whatever you can for the student body, and for anyone that is looking for opportunities to connect. It's really amazing that you're doing this. And I wanted to thank you and the entire team that I know goes behind these productions for giving me the opportunity to be with you guys today. It's great.
Thank you so much, Shibani, for joining us.